Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's interview. I am thrilled to be joined by Chris Keniston, a USA Today best-selling author. And I'm very excited to talk to you about this topic. I'm just going to preface by saying you actually had written a blog post that you can find on the BN Press blog, sort of about this topic, but I felt like it would be it's timed for a refresher. So welcome, Chris, and thank you for joining me today. I know you're super busy with the launch of your new book coming out, or actually it's already launched when this recording is going live. So we'll get to that in a second, but a little about you. So you were originally a native New Yorker like me, and then you were on your way to Australia when you fell in love with North Texas, where you are now. So it started as a few short stories inspired by your favorite TV characters, eventually blossomed into a full-time writing career. After winning multiple contests and becoming a finalist in the Romance Writers of America's Golden Hearts contest, you turned your passion into contemporary romantic fiction. Your books are filled with heat and heart and surprises and those all-important happily ever afters. And I think a few pups. I know you're a dog fan like I am as well. So that's always really fun to pepper in there. Thank you for being here today. I know, as I said, you're very busy. You have this new book called Sweet Deal in the Honeysuckle Texas series. It's actually out now, and I wanted to talk to you about release strategies. That's why we are here. How, some tips and tricks for a successful book release, from preparing to launch, keeping readers engaged, and even how your backlist can assist in all of that. So with your experience in dedicated readership, I thought you'd have some valuable insights for authors at every stage. So thank you and welcome.
Well, thank you, first of all, for inviting me to join you here. I always love having the opportunity to sit and chat with you. It's always fun, and there's always full of surprises.
Yes.
And I'm happy to share whatever I have. I have a different strategy than most people for a multitude of reasons. One of which is I am not horribly ambitious.
Okay, let's say that.
Yeah. Like, how can I do this the easiest way possible with the least amount of effort?
Wildly successful, might I add.
Yes. And so I have an author friend who we're very similar. If you're into personality traits, I am a communicator and I am a schmoozer. I love people. I'm a full extrovert. There is not an introverted fragment in my body.
I
will talk to anybody about anything under any circumstances. I will pet all strange dogs and coo at all babies. And I just right up front apologize to people. I'm not crazy. I'm a grandmother. Can I talk to your baby? Hello there. So I'm an extrovert. I'm an introvert, but I have zero achiever, zero self-competition, none of that. So as a result, my launch strategies tend to be very, very simplistic.
That's great then for this conversation, because I think the people that are watching are going to take that to heart. I think, especially if we're trying to wade through all the stuff that's out there.
Nowadays, everybody and their godmother is talking about, Facebook ads and book talk and Instagram and making videos and making reels. And I admit, my daughter and I, because my daughter works for me, we've talked multiple times that our personalities would be just a video hit, because we're just typical mother-daughter. And we get along like oil and vinegar most of the time. So, but I don't like doing all of that. This little interview here was like a 30-minute how to not have a heart attack. Is the computer working? What button do I push? There's nobody here to help me if I get into trouble. Technology is not my friend. And so I try to keep it very simple. And
I love that.
The things that are have never changed in this business are the core reasons for which, and there I'm doing that thing, the core reasons for which I plan my strategy. When I was an aspiring author, and I was fortunate to be surrounded by some very accomplished authors, New York Times, USA Today, people like Lorraine Heath, Jane Graves, Emily March, Jody Thomas is a dear friend. I learned a lot from them. And one of the things I noticed early on was that when New York wanted to make an author a New York Times author, they did this with Emily March, they did it with, I think, Susan Mallory, and they upped, she was already New York Times, but they upped Robin Carr's Virgin River following by doing the same exact thing. In the summer, they released 3 books 1 month apart. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Emily March, it worked beautifully. The first book came out. I forget the name of it. She's going to shoot me for that one. I'm so sorry. I remember it has Celeste and it's the angels and I forget it, but it's an excellent series if anybody wants to read Emily March. And that first one came out and she did really well. And the second one came out and it did even better. And the third one came out and she hit the New York Times. Because in the old days, 1 month apart was about as fast as you were going to get a paperback book. And everybody knew, go into the store on Tuesdays and see it. And so you used to take your time reading a book.
Yeah.
You had to go to work. You couldn't work at home. There were no computers. There was no Kindle. And so everybody would read a book and within a few weeks, oh, good, here's the next one.
Yeah.
And they didn't have time to forget. And what we've learned from all of this, and New York knew it, and it has not changed, is it on average takes a reader 3 books to fall in love with and remember a series.
Yeah.
3 books, which is fine. But then you have a new problem, which is we are no longer the old days of you walk into a Barnes & Noble on Tuesday and peruse the shelves for what's released this week. We now have this magic little thing called a Nook. And you can finish a book at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday night and not have to wait till next Tuesday to go buy another book.
Yep.
You just, boom, boom, boom. Oh, good. Let's read the next book. So the problem you have is if a reader falls in love with your book and wants the next one, but it's not ready for 6 months, they've got 500 other things they can read every 10 hours at 2 a.m. And by the time your book comes out, they've forgotten all about you. Because with the way that shopping online has now become, buy a package of wet noodles and you will now get a newsletter from us every other hour.
Yeah.
Every other hour for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So there's too many newsletters now. They don't hold the impact they once did.
Yeah.
So I can't find them that way. Social media, they can follow you. Whether or not they'll see what you're saying is a whole other book. And then there's a lot of people who just don't have time for social media.
Yeah.
And people are frustrated by social media. So finding these people who absolutely loved you and hoping that someday they stumble across something and says, oh, I read one of her books. Oh, look, she's written 4 more. And they go back and retrace your steps. That's tough. Yeah. But by doing what I call, stock and release, because I obviously can't write a book a month if my life depended on it. I stock and release. Well, let me rephrase that. I could write a book in a month. If everybody left me alone, shoved water and food under the door, and didn't allow me to turn on the television set, talk to family, or get on the telephone, I could probably
just live in a cave, basically. Just live in a cave and just write your books by yourself.
Can't feed the dog. Can't worry about dinner. Oh dear, the pool is leaking. Too bad. Keep writing.
It's like that meme of Robin Williams coming out in Jumanji, where he's like, "What year is it?" And he's got like a grizzled beard. And
that would be me exactly. Then I could probably do it. But so what I do is I stockpile. I write books and then I can tweak things to make sure they fit together better. Mm-hmm. And in the past, I released, I tried it when I released my Faradays. Mm-hmm. I dropped 3 books in a single day, and I made the first book free so people could find the series. And Faradays did really well. It was probably the best year. That first 2 years was probably the best years of sales I've ever had at Barnes & Noble in my life. Yeah. It's part of how I wound up on the radar at Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, and attest to that.
Those books were just amazing. Everybody loves them. They still love them. I've not been able to stop writing that series. I have to put 1 book out a year because nobody wants it to end. And I'm like, all right, I can live with that.
It's a good problem.
So I did that with the Faradays. And then I said, all right, let's try that with my Heartland series.
Mhm.
It worked okay. All right, so we'll try that with the Billionaire Barons of Texas. And that worked out okay.
Sensing a trend.
But I felt that after over a decade of publishing, and I reached a point where um, I realized I have enough of a fan base that I don't need to do that anymore to make that first book free. Maybe,
Mm.
not sure. I had a very nice incident happen to me in South Dakota last summer where I went to a book signing, and I don't do many book signings. I had not actually done any since 2016.
Hmm.
So we're talking, 8 years since I'd gone to a book signing. And I did this one, and the minute the room opened, a woman came up to me and put a pile of books on my desk, my books that she owned, and gave me a little lovely gift and told me that she had been waiting years for me to do a book signing.
Oh.
And I went, oh my God, thank you. And I was like, all right, now I need to put a book signing a year on my schedule.
Oh.
I didn't do so good for 2026, but I've got one scheduled for 2027. So if anybody's going to be in South Carolina, so will I.
2027.
2026? What year are we in? 2026. Oh, that's nothing. 2026, I'm doing a book signing in South Carolina in June.
Yeah.
And then 2027, I'm doing a reader cruise up the New England coast. I think it's in September of 2027 with Rayanne Thane and Sheila Roberts and Belinda Curtis. So it'll be a lot of fun. If anybody wants to find it, I'll be
posting awesome.
that. But the bottom line is that I realized, okay, I have enough of a fan base that I may not need to give this book away at this point in time. So I said, let's try what some of my other author friends like Dale Mayer has done and put the first one at 99 cents. And so I put the first 99 cents, and because I didn't have time to stockpile enough books, I just released 2 in the same day.
Mm.
And then I released the rest of them a month apart so people don't have time to forget me. So they're like, oh, yes, I'll pre-order that. Yes, I'll pre-order that. And it has worked out just as well for me as the previous methodology.
Okay, so let's recap that. So you, starting out when you're trying to build your readership, you did what you call stockpiling. You wrote a bunch of books. How many books did you have in the can, basically, before you even started putting stuff on
I would never release, if I were a new author, I would not release a book and then take a year to write the next one. I just wouldn't do it. You're going to be lost in the shadows. And there are so many people out there who are so gifted at paying for advertising. They know how to manipulate those social media ads. They know how to manipulate vendor ads. Not my skill set.
Right.
My degree is in economics. It's not in marketing. It's not in advertising. And my experience being an author is in real estate. Again, marketing and advertising, not my skill set. So I don't do well. We tried them. I saw no benefit in them. I says, I'm not throwing money down a tube chasing rainbows. I'm not doing it. It's not my personality. Remember, lack of ambition? Not going to do it. And I'm a really firm believer in the old cliche that the definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Right.
If it didn't work, it didn't work. I'm not going to mess with it. Move on. And so early on, we were told, and many authors believe this, a free book is an excellent way to find readers. It is a simple concept, and this I actually did learn in college during my economic degree. It's called a loss leader.
Right.
And there's a reason that everybody has been doing loss leaders for centuries. And there's a reason that you buy one, get one free, buy this one and get the second one half price. Take your pick of which particular methodology you want, but the bottom line is it works. And it's especially true with books because there are so many authors out there right now. And there are so many people who want to be authors. And because of the ease of indie publishing, there are so many people who shouldn't be authors.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but it's the truth. And so you can't tell who those are just by looking at a great cover and a good blurb. You have to look at the content. And you've got the free sample inside, but that's always not enough. I mean, I have authors I love and adore who I've read their book and wanted to throw the dang thing across the wall because I was so mad at how they wrote it. So this is not, not every book, and it could be a great book, but it turns out it's not your genre, your
Right.
niche, your interest level. I, for instance, cannot stand second chance romances. I hate them.
Oh,
I
no.
cannot stand them. Please don't give me a book where the divorced couple gets back together, where they were, in love in college and got back together. I can't stand those because I want to go through the joy of discovering this person, rediscovering what you've already known and what's changed. Nah, I don't need that. So that's not. There are other people who adore second
Right.
romances. That is what they want. So it's hard for people to cough up the price of books nowadays that is so high, and then discover they can't stand the person, and now what?
Yeah.
So by having that free book, it gives you a chance to see, oh, I like her style. I tend to write. Um, I write what a lot of people have called a palate cleanser. You've read that tearjerker, cover your eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm never gonna be whole again. What a
Yeah.
fabulous book, but oh my goodness.
I threw it across the room.
And then you're like, oh, you're wretched. It was a tearjerker, an emotional high, and now you're like, I need a hot cup of tea, and I don't know, maybe I'll go back to smoking. It's one of those things.
Cozy blanket, maybe.
And so I don't do that. I write books that are very low angst. Are they boring? No, I hope not.
You have enough fans that I think that they're not.
I'm going to say no, they're not.
Yeah.
But they're low angst. I try to avoid predictability as much as I can, which is another reason why it's hard to write a book a month, because all the ideas. What about this? No, I did that in that book. What about that? No, I did that in the first book. What about that? No, I did that in the last series. So you have to always try to figure out new ways. And I'm writing a holiday book right now that I'm hoping to have released in October. And the meet cute, I don't give it things away normally, but I'll give this, but is in a bathroom.
Yeah.
And my friends are all like, are you out of your mind? I'm like, no, it's one of the few places I could think of where I have not done a meet cute. So there you go. I have to figure out how to make a meet cute in a bathroom. And I did, I think. And so anyhow, I've lost my train of thought.
We were talking about loss leaders. So,
the free book works. It gets people a chance to see. It's like, going through Costco and you take a sample. Oh, I like that. Now you buy the whole box. So that's worked really well for me. Yeah. And I encourage people, if you don't have the nerve to do that, at least stockpile and drop 3 books in a day.
Yeah. So my original question was like, okay, so you have the 3 books, right? And you have the first one's free. And then book number 2 and book number 3, are those the same price? Are they 99 cents? What do you?
No, I don't know. The only thing you're going to get a discount out of me is that first book. After that, you now know what I write. Price. Either you want to pay for me or you don't.
Right.
Period in the statement.
So all 3 books are released on the same day. And the first one's free. The second 2 are full price. And then how many books are you ready for? Like, how many books do you have ready to go after that? And what's your
cadence? If the 4th one isn't written, I don't release the first 3.
Okay. So you make sure 4 is ready to go.
Right. Because I need that time to write 5 and then 6. Okay. And then eventually you can push it out to 6 or 8 weeks after people are now completely hooked and not afraid to pre-order your book. Got it. Afraid to sign up for your newsletter or eager to follow you on social media or whatever.
So book 4 is the next month after those release of book 3. And then you're sort of every 4 weeks.
This is important. Every 4 weeks, because all the vendors, whether it's Barnes and Noble or any of the others, all of them, no matter who, their algorithms don't necessarily work on a monthly basis. They work on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. So every 4 weeks, there's a small window where your book is in 2 new release areas. Mm-hmm. In all of you are the same. Mm-hmm. And so every 4 weeks, and then, people like to know, I can buy it on Tuesdays, or I can buy it like in German, which is, sorry, Barnes and Noble doesn't sell in Germany, but in German, my books always release on a Friday. Everybody knows on Friday, they can buy my books. Mm-hmm. And so there's a little bit of reliability and a little bit of familiarity, but every 4 weeks is what I shoot for at least the first 5 or 6 books.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books out every month. They've got Sweet Deal coming out in August, Sweet Obsession coming out in September.
Mm-hmm.
I have my Old Aloha series Christmas book coming out in October, and then November, 2 months later, I'm back to book 6 and then book 7 in November and December, a month apart, for the new Honeysuckle Texas series.
Mm. So you're toggling like a bunch of different series at this point. Like, so you have this one series drops and you've got those books going, and then you have other books in a different series that you're doing the same kind of.
What I do with my old series is the Faradays get a book a year, because the fans, some fans, that's all they'll read of mine.
Mm-hmm.
They won't let me stop. And as long as there's some ideas, and I just took a trip to Ireland, so I've actually got an idea how to extend the books, series 7 more books.
Exciting.
And once we get to Z, I'm sorry, folks, I'm either going to be dead or something, because we're going to be done. I'm not doing double A. I'm just like,
I was going to say, are we going back to the top?
The Z, we're done. You're going to have to read the rest of my books.
There's other alphabets, Chris.
No, we're not doing that. Not doing that. Yeah, Omega, Delta, not happening. So that I do that, and then every once in a blue moon, I try to throw out, because people love Christmas stories, and I try to throw out a Christmas story to update from an older series. And it's not a yearly thing. Aloha, Texas has not had a book out in 7 years, 6 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And I've recently had, because you find new readers, and so the series is new to them, and they're like, well, what happened to? And I'm like, oh, I forgot I wanted to write that. And I was going to try to do a Christmas novella in the Billionaire Barons of Texas. I got an idea for one from Carolyn Brown. She writes, she's a New York Times bestselling author who writes both historicals and cowboys, and now she's doing women's fiction. And I met her last year, and she told me the story of how she met her husband.
No.
And she was young, and he was in the Navy, and she got a picture from her brother who was stationed with him. And she looks and she goes, I'm going to marry him. I think she was like 16. And she's, I'm going to marry him. And so when her brother got off the ship, 2 years later or whatever it was, she showed up. And that's how she showed up, and she married this guy, and they were happily married for 50 years before he passed away. So I was going to do that story, and then a reader emailed me and said, what about Sarah? And I went, oh my God, I forgot I had wanted to write that. And I started thinking about it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to make the Christmas story the Aloha one. So I will occasionally put out something new for the readers who were fans of that book, and for people who find the new book and are like, oh, let me start from the beginning. So I do that occasionally, but that is not the foundation of how I move books. My foundation is trying to pimp out new series. New series, and as quickly as I can, and just keeping people content with new material.
How many series do you have then
6.
Currently? You have 6 series. Okay. 6 series, and you plan on having more series? Then that's what I'm taking away from this.
I will definitely have one more that I'm planning for 2026.
Okay.
Ish. Because there's a block where books aren't being released because I'm writing and stockpiling.
Right.
So I'm thinking about another Texas series, and I've got in the back of my mind thinking about doing a back in New England again, because oddly enough, that New England series is fairly popular at Barnes & Noble. Your demographic seems to really like it. So I am going to possibly, there was in book 2, Lily, of that series, I had, the hero was a fireman. And I had a bunch of his buddies show up in that book, and I just loved them.
Oh.
I loved them. I was like, this would be a great Firehouse series.
Oh.
But everybody really wanted my Texas stuff, so I went back to Texas. So there's a chance I might write that. And then there's a chance when I don't have to spit them out fast, because these take time. Because anything that involves mystery takes a little more time. And I have the Aloha series. There was a book called Shell Game that was the prequel that I didn't want to write. And I finally wrote it because I had no choice. And it's a comedy. And it's like, if you're old enough to know this, it's like The Golden Girls meets Miami Vice. And it's a very popular book. Everybody loves it. And the book was stolen by the grandmother, Sophia, who was a former grifter.
Ooh.
And when I say grifter, think The Sting.
Okay.
And so I've always wanted to write a cozy mystery series based on that book. So that's the other thing that I might actually pull
I like
off.
it.
Yes.
Well, we'll look forward to the 3-book drop on that one.
So hopefully there will be at least 3 more series out of me before I fully retire. In the next 5 years. Okay.
Well, that's really interesting. Like, you plan that far ahead too, right? Like, you were saying like 2027, you were throwing that out there, and I was like 2027. So you're really thinking like 5-year plan with your books. And I think that's something that those watching can really take away, is that if you're looking at this from a professional perspective, despite ambition, whatever, and all of that, just as a professional writer, you need to be thinking of it like that business of like
a business plan for every industry. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. You have to have a business plan. You have to have some common sense. And I do carry a spreadsheet. I have an Excel spreadsheet, and I have every year on it.
Yeah.
And I glance back, what did I do? And that's how I also determine my marketing, because that's the other thing I do have to do. Just putting a free book out there is great at first, but you better remind people it's there, or it's not going to do anything. And for that, I do use BookBub advertising. And
I was going to ask, okay, so you have these books, and they're on pre-order, because I know you use pre-orders, which I think is vital when you're putting out a book.
A year in advance if I can.
A year in advance. There you go. And so, you have 1 year of marketing this book. How do you get the word out, especially for like when you're trying to build up that readership? If
I don't even bother trying until the books are out. And here's the thing. And even BookBub, pre-orders are vital for the person who loves you to find you later on. But pimping a pre-order just doesn't go over as well as a live book, even with BookBub.
Yeah.
The pre-order, the bump through a series is any newsletter promotional company. The sell-through for the available to read now books is usually quite good. And then the sell-through to the pre-order book drops dramatically, because a lot of people don't like to pre-order. They don't like to pre-order 6 months ahead. They don't like to pre-order even 2 months ahead. 9 times out of 10. They will almost always hit pre-order if it's coming the same month. So if you have a BookBub on September 1 and your book is coming out September 20th, they'll click that. If it's coming out September 30th, they'll click it. October 2nd, they'll wait.
Yeah. That's why having 4 ready to go a month later is smart if you're pre-ordering.
And the back of the book. The reason you want that pre-order available is in the back of your existing book. You want the person who loved that book and who's not afraid of pre-orders to have that opportunity. And you will get them. There are quite a lot of people. And it matters and it helps. And the closer you get to the release, the more people are willing to pre-order it.
Yeah, because, with pre-orders, especially for digital content, for ebooks, you don't have to wait for the book to arrive. You don't have to go to the store to get it. You just, like you said earlier when we were talking, you just boop, 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 and now the book is yours. So this idea of pre-ordering, it's a little bit, I think, not as attractive for ebook readers. But like you said, if you're catching
it is for those who don't want to forget you. It's the ones who don't want to miss out on that book. They love it. They want to know what's happening. And that comes after the 3rd book.
Right.
Now they are invested it's one of the reasons why I often do, and this is in the marketing department, I will bundle the first 3 books in a series,
Mm-hmm.
and I will discount them and do promotional, newsletter promos. Sometimes you'll see these bargains on Barnes and Noble because the prices are the
You
same.
mean like a box set of them, like you'll
A
put them
box
into
set of
like
ebooks,
like
the first 3,
$9.99 or something.
and I'll put them at 99 cents. I mean,
Mm.
you've got bargain basement, baby,
Yeah.
99 cents. Sometimes I'll do $2.99, but usually it's a 99 center. And what happens is, and this is where that everybody falls in love. Not everybody loves your first book, but they'll read the first book and it's like, well, that was okay. I enjoyed it. It wasn't horrible. I don't want to throw it in the book, but I don't feel like spending $5 on another book. But since they've got the second one right there, they go ahead and read it. Well, this one wasn't awful, so I'll go ahead and read that one. And it was like, well, that was good. That was okay. It wasn't, I don't want to spell it. But I've got the third book here, so I'm going to go ahead and read it. At this point, they're hooked.
Yeah.
They may not be the best book they've ever read in their entire life or the book they can't live without. But now on the third one, they're like, well, what happened to the so-and-so? And you're like, and so they need to move on. And so now they're in it for the series because they're invested.
Okay, so when do you, in this process, like how many books do you have out, and when you decide to bundle them together in this like box set, because you're obviously releasing new books. So like when
usually I have the first 7 finished before I bundle the first 3.
Okay.
And I tend to write series in 7s. The first 7, like Faraday's was 7 Brides for 7 Brothers based. Of course, it veered off considerably.
So they're like numerology around 7. 7's like a special number.
It's a practical number for marketing because I can have the first one free and 2 box sets.
Oh.
And then I can have the first one free, the 2 box sets, and then I can have an entire complete series of 7.
Oh, I like
and
it.
So, and when I box those big ones, they're just barely discounted, just pennies discounted, because it's more convenience in having it all in one place for the readers than anything else. It's almost a different demographic, people who adore box sets.
Yeah. So this is a lot of like insights for series, which I think with self-publishing or indie publishing, series are kind of the bread and butter of this
in romance,
in romance especially, and I think mystery, thriller, and all those. And
sure, cozy mysteries love a series.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, is there anything we can take away from this and your strategies to apply to authors who don't write series? Like, what do you think about that?
Okay? It's tough. You used to be able to do it. When I first released in 2013, I released 3 books in a day. Mm-hmm. I had Aloha. I had Honeymoon for One free. Mm-hmm. It was a contemporary romance. I had Aloha, Texas, another contemporary romance at full price. I had Homecoming, a women's fiction at full price. And I had Hope's Corner, a women's fiction at full price. Those 4 books came out the same day.
Okay.
And the Honeymoon for One sold a bazillion copies of Aloha, Texas. 2 different books, 2 different series, like kind. They were both contemporary romances, like kind. They did beautifully. That is harder to do now. In romance and cozy, it is harder to get them. Just, a lot of authors, like I said, it's hard to get people to jump from my Faraday series over to a new series because they're so invested in the Faradays. So like kind is your best option if you write standalones. I mean, it works for Nora Roberts. It works for Susan Elizabeth Phillips. They have a lot of people who are it works for Rayanne Thane. She does a lot of standalones as well. Lori Wilde. These are all authors who do standalones. They're just harder to move. But if you write standalones, I stand by, you better have 2 other books, even if they're in a different series, ready for someone to jump to, because they will not remember you if they've only read one of your books and loved it.
So you can kind of apply the same thing, right? Like even if you're writing historical fiction or literary fiction, it's just like, just have books ready to go.
Do not put out your first book and then look every minute to see how many books did I sell today. No, it's not going to work that way. You're one in a sea of a million people out there publishing.
Yeah.
And there are millions and millions of readers out there. There's no shortage of readers.
Yeah.
But reaching them and finding them is not the easiest thing in the world. So at least when you do find them, and they do read that one book and they love it, because it happens all the time with series. They've read, I'll do like on Nook, you have certain promotions that you send out to different people. Yeah. One of my favorites had nothing to do with Barnes and Noble in particular. It wasn't with you, it wasn't with anybody. It was some other division, some other department somewhere in Barnes and Noble who happened to decide that my free, I don't even remember which series it was anymore.
I feel like it's Adam, the one that we're talking about, right?
No. It was like, it might have been Aloha, Texas. It might have been Heartland. It was Heather. It was somebody. It was free. I don't remember who anymore. And I was like, what did you guys do that it was taking off? And you haven't done anything. You're not in any of our promotions. Yeah. And then later we figured out that what happened was it was in the resting on your Nook. So when people opened their Nook, that cover for a free book showed up and they were like, I'll try that. Well, here's the deal. All my other series shot up the sales because once they read that one, they're like, well, what else does she have?
Yeah.
So it can move to others. It just isn't as successful as within the series.
Yeah.
But absolutely, you've got to have free books because you're just throwing money down the tubes. And then where are they going to go? They're going to forget you. You have to remember the power of three. You just have to.
I love that.
Anything. You have to remember the power of three. It's very important.
Oh, I love that. And I think that really, I mean, like you said, it really can be applied to everything. And, like we've talked about all these different things going into it. We talked about marketing and whatnot. We've actually jumped a little bit more all over the place, which is great because then that's okay. I love when a conversation just flows. Honestly, it's kind of a little bit better in many ways. But is there anything that you have done in the past that here's where I'm going with this. It's like, okay, is there something that like you say, like, don't ever do this. You don't need to do it. Like a lesson learned. I tried this. It didn't work. And is there something that you can pinpoint that's like a one and done, like,
social media ads? Yeah, those were one and done.
Okay, there you
Throwing
go.
my money down the tubes.
Or what's like some priorities that you would say you do? Like, what are some things that every author should prioritize, like as they're prepping for their next release?
Well, you certainly want to always try to get as many graphics as you can to remind people from time to time that this book is coming. You don't have to spend money.
Stockpile graphics. Use Canva.
Yeah, just dump it. You can use ChatGPT now.
Yeah. Well,
you do graphics.
Actually, Barnes & Noble Press has a graphic generator, so you can use our website to make some
I did not know that.
Yes, we do.
See, this is why I love chatting with you because you never know what you're going to discover.
Yeah.
You always have those because it's free and you'd be amazed how people just suddenly pop on with it. In terms of priority, I'm real big about having my newsletter ready to go, not on day one, but on day two. Mm-hmm. On day one, I just post on social media, hey, look what's here. And on day two, I put the newsletter out. Hey guys, look what's here. And then on day three, I might have a friend say, hey, can you share this for me? Mm-hmm. I will have BookBub say, hey, can you send out to my followers the new release alert? I scattered. I don't do everything on the same day because then what happens?
Yeah.
Nothing. And the thing about vendor algorithms like yours, which is how I wound up in that stupid Froze ad.
Yeah.
If a vendor notices organically that sales are moving well, then any business is going to pimp what people already want.
Right.
You're selling. You're noticing, why are these widgets going off the shelf in the back after a week? You're like, move them to the front of the store. Order more widgets. Move them to the front of the store. And so with books, it's no different. you want to keep it in people's faces,
I think
so
pulsing is a great, as a great concept.
If you can just get it there, if you're free. But so I do that with the scattering the notices, whether it's on my Facebook page, my personal, like I'll my private, my author page on Facebook. It goes out, but I don't share it on my profile page until the next day.
Got it.
And so I scatter things as much as I can. I try to have them all ready. Backlinks to me is super, super important. You have to have that pre-order to that. So I said you might want a year out. You need a year to write the book. You put that damn that damn pre-order in the back of the book. Yeah. Even if it's a year out, because that's everybody who's reading that book is like, oh, and it gets closer. Oh, and click. So that's a priority. The thing that the biggest mistake I made, which has nothing to do with marketing in general, was I shifted genres. I had a success with Faraday's, Cowboys. Everybody loved it. I thought, oh, great. Everybody loves me. Let's write Women in New England. Yeah. Whoops. And my editor said to me, when I wrote, she goes, it's a nice story. She goes, your fans are going to love it, but you're not going to get new readers. And she was right. It sold well, but it did not have the effect that Faraday's had. So I learned, when you find what works, stick with it. For the love of God, don't change. Yeah. Don't change. It's Jana de Leon writes humorous mysteries, and she's tried branching out into other series. They do okay, but nothing like her misfortune.
They're
so
not her
the bottom line is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
There you go. Are you okay? You're not experimenting maybe with like genre or anything like that. I will not.
I am a stay in your lane advocate. Susan Stoker stays in her lane. She not only writes romantic suspense, everything is damsel in distress. Yeah. Military damsel in distress. She is the example of stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
Okay.
Pick a genre that works for you. Pick a genre that works for your readers. And when they find a series that they absolutely love, do not stop writing it. Keep going.
7 books, right?
Keep going. If they like it, figure out a way. If these books are going really well on book 3, figure out a way in book 4 to plant who's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Your spin-off series, right? You got to have the
spin-off. And I try to make it all in 3s. So if I'm going to write, like the Heartlands are 9 books, because I can do a box set of 3, 3, and 3.
Yep.
And the Billionaire Barons are 12. I did the original 7, and then I did 5 more siblings because I didn't want to do 14. I didn't want to do 15. So 5 more siblings, which are the first cousins. 12 books, 3, 3, 3, and 3. Everything I can divvy it up in 3.
I love it.
If you find something that works, don't stop writing it. And if you find your genre niche, don't start tinkering off. So many authors are like, well, I want to write a sci-fi fantasy, and I want to write a contemporary, and I want to write a mystery. And I'm like, oh, Lord.
That's all right if they want to, right? But then don't expect the same.
Go for it, but don't expect to be able to take an Antarctica cruise in January with your earnings.
Yeah. Or at least you'll have to
And if you're wondering where that came from, guess who just booked an Antarctica cruise in January?
Am I talking to her right now? Because that sounds really cool.
It's actually humorous because I don't like cold weather. That's why I live in Texas, not New York.
Technically, it's summer down there.
Technically, which is, it's going to be 35 degrees because it's summer. And my friend, my friend who I do travel with a lot, she's a gypsy like I am. She called her mother and says, I have to cancel the family trip because it's her decade birthday and she wanted to do something special. And I said, I'll do it with you. She goes, I found someone to go with me to Antarctica. And her mom said, oh, really? Who? And she goes, Chris. And there's dead silence. And after 30 seconds, her mother said, has anybody told her it's cold there?
Yeah, just a little.
Just a little hippie. And so, but no, you're not going to make a lot of money if you genre jump at first. You're just not.
Yeah. Okay.
You might be able to do it later, but you have to brand them well. But you need a following first.
Yeah.
Once you're making the kind of money you want, then you can tinker off and do others.
Yeah, have fun. But okay.
You pay the bills first.
All right. This has been amazing. Okay, so I have one final question that I want to ask you that's a bit broad about what excites you now about being in the self-publishing indie business, with the future of it. I know things are so always changing and evolving, and who knows where things will go, but is there anything happening right now that's exciting to you?
I'm thrilled with artificial intelligence at the moment.
Oh, okay. Bold statement. I love it.
I used to need 5 people and a week to write a blurb.
Yeah.
Now I just say, here's the book, give me a blurb. And then I tweak it down. I'm like, tweak this, tweak that. And literally in 15 minutes, I have the next blurb.
Yeah.
I love that. I am an extrovert. I am a communicator. I get my best ideas talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
That is hard to do at 2 a.m. So when I am stuck at 2 a.m. and I can't call any number of people who are very helpful, where we talk things out, I'll throw to AI. I'm like, okay, here's what I just wrote. I need some ideas. Any ideas what I can do next? And 9 times out of 10, the ideas are all the worst thing that I've ever found. But there's one grain that I can say,
right, there's a little kernel in there.
Let me see this. Wait a minute. I can do something with that. Not what you wanted me to do, but I can do something with it.
Right.
And so it keeps me going when I'm in the flow and I'm moving, versus having to stop and wait 3 days until I can have a coffee lunch with 4 other writers to work out where I'm stuck.
Yeah.
So it's a time saver.
Excuse
me, I have the hiccups.
It's okay.
I wouldn't use it to write a whole book.
Yeah. I don't think it can, frankly.
Well, it can. People are doing it. I wouldn't want to read most of them. Past the first chapter.
Yeah.
But for me, for saving you when you're stuck and you're on a roll and you don't want to stop, and for writing the marketing blurbs for graphics.
The marketing stuff is really
that helpful. I find interesting. I also find it terrifying because it's going to put so many people out of work.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Terrifying at the same time. Absolutely terrifying at the same time.
Yeah. AI is a whole other conversation.
But for those 2 purposes, it's been hugely, hugely exciting. And of course, the thing in general about this career that I love is I write books while I'm traveling.
Yeah.
I wrote
inspiring.
I can do this job anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
So if I need to be there for my grandkids in the daytime, I can write at midnight. And if I need to be in Florida to help my friend buy a new car, I can write at midnight. And if I'm in Ireland with my husband, I can try to write at midnight.
Pesky time differences and all that.
Well, it's just there was so much driving.
And that too. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chris. I don't know where I was going with that, but thank you so much for being here.
It was my pleasure.
So appreciative. I think we've touched on some really important things on like releasing your books, stockpiling everything first, make sure you have at least 4 books in the can, and then releasing 3 on day 1, and then the 4th one a month later, and then a cadence of at least 1 a month, if not a little bit. You can have a little bit separation in there.
And it has been, and you can tinker with that a little bit if you want to do 2 and release 2 weeks later and then pick up the 4 weeks, whatever. But that's the general concept.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's very exciting that your new book is out now. It's a sweet deal. It is number what in the where are we now?
Number 4 in the new Honeysuckle series. And if you're fond of marriage of convenience, fake dating, that kind of thing, you're going to love this series.
Oh, well,
you're going to love this
like
series.
A fun read. Again, thanks so much for being here. And hopefully I'll see you soon in person sometime. But otherwise, you have a good rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you very much.